Welcome to Void Admiral. What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's okay. This is my little table setup for Void Admiral, and all the terrain you see here, all the starships you see here, they're all scratch built, so that is something special about this game. Everything is scratch built, and you can find out about my scratch builds, my starship scratch builds, either in my scratch build playlist on the channel or Scratch Builder Monthly, which is my monthly magazine for all of these projects where I show where I build everything. Here's my player's console, and to play the game we need the roster sheets, one for each fleet, so we have all the ship stats here, and then we need a command board, and I printed these out right from the book, and these give you some special abilities for your factions, and the command board, which we will see in use in just a moment. It's very easy to use, and this gives you some extra strategy. I like the command board mechanic. And then we have just some notes about the phases, and so you will need some d6 dice for the command board, 6 of them for each player, and of course your measuring utensils. You'll need some ships, some terrain, of course d6 dice. This is a d6 system, so we'll need like 10 d6 dice per player, or more if you have them. Some ships do have a lot of attack. Tokens, these tokens are right in the back of the book, so I printed them out, and basically that's it. And of course a copy of the rules right here. I have the rules themselves so I can refer to them. All right, so I'm starting with 15 points apiece, the way the rules recommend, and let's get this game going. Rounds in Void Admiral have 6 phases. The first phase is to recharge shields. We have no shields to recharge, so we skip that. Next is rolling command. Each player has 6 command dice. The insectoids will roll first. They roll their 66, and the numbers rolled are then picked up and matched to the numbers on the command board. Each of these will represent a special command that insectoids can later use in the round. The mining guilds do the same thing. They roll 66 and then match the numbers on their command board. And they have different commands that, again, could be used during the round. To use a command, it's very easy. All a player has to do is call it out and spend one of the dice that match that command. And the command is triggered. The next step is to deploy fighters. Only starships that have hangar bays can deploy these fighter tokens. These tokens will move with the ship, and when used, they are spent like tokens. They can be used in bombing runs or interception runs. The insectoid mothership has 3 hangar bays, and so she can deploy up to 6 fighters. Players cannot deploy more than double the number of hangar bays that they have. For this first round, the Insectoid Mothership deploys 3 fighter tokens. The Mining Guild also deploys 3 fighter tokens. And now players can determine initiative. Okay, initiative. So the white dice is the Mining Guilds, dark dice is the Insectoid. Okay, dark dice it is. Insectoid have the initiative. We now go to the activation phase. And activation is alternate. So the Hivers will move a ship, and then the Mining Guilds move a ship. And then it goes back to the Hivers, etc., etc. The Insectoid Mothership is randomly determined to activate first. A dice on the command board is spent to spawn fighters. The dice is put aside, and instantly a token of fighters is spawned beneath the large mothership. The mothership then moves her total distance of 6 inches. She can make a turn of 45 degrees after moving 4 inches. All ships can do that. She finishes her move by adjusting her course by 45 degrees and looms just beyond the edge of the asteroid field. Next, I choose the command Haul Iron for the Mining Guild. This gives a +2 inches of movement to the ship that it is assigned to. I decided to give the Squadron of Defenders the Haul Iron command. The squadron moves 4 inches first, and then they adjust their course by turning 45 degrees and then complete their movement. They move a total of 8 inches. However, we can't forget Haul Iron, so they get an extra 2 inches because of that, moving a total of 10. Round 1 is now over, and here are the positions of the ships. We have our Digger, which moved a total of 8 inches. It had +2 because I used the Haul Iron command on it. Also, the Defenders here moved their +2 because, again, I used Haul Iron. And here is the Fortress, where fighters inching towards that buoy. Now, I don't think they're 4 inches away. Not going to score any points, so no, they're not. And here are the Hivers. The Pincer Squadron has moved forward their 10 inches, so they ended up there after a slight adjustment to their course. Here is the Hive Mothership inching towards the edge of the asteroid field, and we have the Stinger, which is like a cruiser in Hiver terms, and it is 3 inches away from the buoy, so the Insectoid do have their first point of the game by being near one of the navigation buoys. All right, round 2. The Mining Guild deploys 1 fighter token this round. The Insectoids do not deploy any fighters. The Insectoid reroll 2 command dice this round. And setting up their command board, they now have an extra Angry Maw and Acidic Spray command option. Next, the Mining Guild rerolls 4 of their command dice. You can reroll any number of command dice you want in the beginning of the round. And they set up their command board accordingly. Next, the Mining Guild wins the initiative, and so the first ship to move is the Fortress, moving closer to the navigation buoy. The Insectoid Pincers activate next and move into position against the Squadron of Defenders in front of them. However, their laser mounted on the bow only has a range of 6 inches. They cannot fire. The Guild Defenders notice the threat and move forward 4 inches, then adjusting their course in a 45-degree turn to attempt to come around. They have mining chargers that can be launched like missiles from their side arcs. However, they only have a 6-inch range, and so the defenders cannot fire. Stinger has now moved around the navigation buoy. I'm saying the navigation buoy does not impede line of sight or movement. So it moved around, maneuvered around the asteroid, and is now in this position. It has range. It has missiles in the front. So whatever these missiles are, maybe spore missiles, they have an 18-inch range. So yes, the mothership is in range. It's going to choose the closest ship, which is the Guild Fortress, and it's going to fire its missiles. Missiles have an attack value of 4 dice. However, the flak stat of the Fortress is 2, so I take away 2 dice from the attack value. So now the missile hits with 2 dice. So flak value represents all of the defenses that a ship has against missiles and fighters. So taking the 2 dice, I hit on 4s. Okay, 1 hit. Missiles do ignore the shields of enemy ships, so we would ignore shields in this case. But the fortress has armor 3, and we only have 1 hit, which is below the armor of the vessel, so no damage is done. So the digger has moved into position to fire on the pincers, and it has a cannon in its forward and side arc. It can fire through its forward and side arc. It also has a digger laser which can fire off its side arcs. So we consider the cannon, and the closest enemy ship is within range of 12 inches, so it's going to fire on this ship. It's interesting how squadrons work, because while they move together, they can combine all their dice to fire when firing on big ships, let's say. They are treated as individual ships when shooting at them and such. So this is the ship that's targeted, and it's going to target it with a cannon. The flak stat is not considered for this because this is a cannon. Flak is only considered for missiles and bombing runs. It only affects those attacks. So he fires his cannon. It's 4 dice. It has 4 attacks. Hits on 4+. 6s count as 2 hits, so it did 2 damage, 3, and 4. And by the way, I checked the command dice, and there were no commands that could actually help me in this case. The driller has done a total of 4 hits, or 4 potential damage to this pincer. Now, pincers do not have any shields. So we go straight to armor. Now, in order to inflict damage, if we roll equal to the armor value of the target, then that ship takes 1 damage to its hull. If we roll double the armor value of the target, that ship takes 2 damage to its hull. Now, in this case, the pincers have armor 2. We did 4 hits, which is double the armor value of the ship, meaning it gets 2 damage to its hull. Now, pincers only have 1 hull point, meaning that this ship explodes and is destroyed. Round 2 is now over, and let's see, the insectoids score 1 more point, as that ship is within the 4 inches of the buoy. That means insectoid have 2. No other points scored, and the mining guild now has a point, so that gives it 1 point. It has a point here, so that gives it 2 points, and they destroyed one of the pincers, giving the mining guilds 3 points, and mining guild is now in the lead, 3-2. There are no shields to recharge, so going to the command pool, the insectoid decide to reroll 4 of their dice, and bringing a little bit of variety to their command pool. The guild goes extreme and rerolls all 6 of its dice. That the command pools are set, we can go to initiative, but before that we have to deploy fighters. But the hive fleet, the insectoids, are not going to deploy any fighters, and mining guilds will also not deploy any fighters this round, so we can move to initiative now. So initiative, white die is the mining guild, and insectoids have the initiative. The angry hive ship moves forward 6 inches. Its hammerhead shape pokes out of the edge of the asteroid field. In front of it is a mining guild digger. Now it's time to check range. Ship moves into position, and the angry mothership is attempting to fire her spine cannon. They are located in the front, in the bow of the ship. They have a front firing arc, and you measure from roughly the middle of the ship to middle of the ship in this game. So that's roughly to the stem of the hive ship, to the little stem of this ship. So we see that there is no range. It only has a 12-inch range. Next, the mothership is going to send fighter squadrons, or bomber squadrons rather, to attack the digger. Of them, leaving one behind, and it's going to send 3 of them against the digger. So they will perform bombing runs. They have a range of 18 inches, so there's more than enough range. Now, unfortunately, the fortress is too far away to be able to lend interceptor support. You have to be like 12 inches. Yeah, so they fall short. You have to be 12 inches away in that case to send your fighters as interceptors against the bombers. So let's do this. So each of these little bomber stands, these little bio bombers, gets 1 dice to roll. That will determine the number of attacks in total that they are going to inflict on the target. So this is a potential lot of attacks. Okay, so we add these numbers up: 5, 6, 7, 8 dice worth of attacks for the bombers. Now we subtract the flak value of the target, and diggers do not have a lot of countermeasures against these things. So digger only has flak 1, so therefore we remove 1 of these attacks, leaving the 5 and a 2, so that's 7 attacks in total. All right, the bombers hit on 4s, so 7 dice. 6s are 2 hits, so they are criticals, and everything else is 1. Oh, wow. So the bombers inflict 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 hits on the poor little digger with their devastating bombs. So now they ignore shields. Bombing runs ignore shields. So unfortunately, the digger's shields will not take part in this. We go to armor. The digger's armor is 3. Now we did 9 hits, which is 3 times the value of the armor, which is 3. So that is 3 hull damage to the digger. Now the digger has hull 4, so it now has 1 point of hull left, and it is destroyed. So it is badly damaged by the bombing run. Now these bombers go away. They are removed from the tabletop. We are going to take the whole iron command and grant it to the digger to give him +2 movement, and then give it a 45-degree turn. Why not? She's going to get closer, and she is going to fire. Now she has a side arc and front arc guns, so she's going to fire first on this pincer. So the digger's cannon fires with 4 dice. It has 4 attacks. It gets +1 because it's within 6 inches. However, the pincers are small targets, and so digger also gets a -1, so that cancels any pluses. So it needs 4s to hit. Okay, all right, let's see. That's some pretty good hits here. Okay, so we have 2 hits with the 6 and 1, so that's 4 hits altogether. So pincers have no shields. They have armor 2, and we did 4 hits. That is double the armor, so that is 2 hull damage to one of the pincers, and it is suddenly destroyed. Now, I think the mothership is too far forward for the digger to fire its side arc lasers. So I'm going to make the call that it cannot fire its side arc laser on the mothership. Next, a pincer has moved into range of the defender squadrons. It has a laser on its bow with a 6-inch range. So now the pincer will use the command acidic spray, which means that any 6s rolled by the laser will count as 2 hits. Normally lasers, when they roll 6s, it's only 1 hit. So this command ability trumps that. So the laser is 2 dice. It needs 4s, and any 6s are 2 hits instead of 1. It does not roll. It rolls 1 hit. Now that 1 hit is affected by shields, and the defender has 2 shields, so 1 shield on the defender is used up. Next, the Mining Guild Fortress moved forward and sent 3 of its bomber squadrons against the Stinger. After the flak calculation, which Stingers only have flak 2, the result was 10 dice for the attack. And this is the resulting roll with a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potential damage points. Now the armor on the Stinger is a 2. So that means that the Stinger takes 1, 2, 3, 4 hull damage. The Stinger only has 4 hull, so it is destroyed. A very good victory here on round 3 by the Mining Guild. Okay, and the Mining Guild gets 1 point for being close to that buoy there. However, it destroyed a Stinger, which is worth 3 points. So that is 4 points, and then 1 pincer, which is worth a point. So that is 5 points this round. Here, the digger is not close enough to the buoy, so it does not score that. Now, the hivers, on the other hand, 2 points. They're too far to score here, and the Stinger was destroyed on that side, so hivers do not score anything. Round 4 and shields are recharged to full. So all shield damage is removed, and ships have their full shields. The command boards are actually pretty interesting this round. Initiative. And it is the hivers again. The insectoid take the turn around. The hive ship does not move and gets a sitting duck token. And then she fires her bow spine cannon at the wounded digger. The spine cannon shoots with 12 attack dice. It has 12 attack dice. Rolling, it needs 4s and does a good amount of damage. The total damage done is 10 hits. The shields on the digger remove 2 of those hits, but the rest goes to the armor. with 8 hits going to armor. The digger's armor is a 3, and this is more than double the value of the armor, so the digger is destroyed as it suffers 2 hull damage, and it only has 1 hull from the previous attack. The defenders react to the approaching pincer. One of the defenders is within 6-inch range of the pincer and uses its side arc to fire a mining charge. Mining charges work just like missiles. They have 6 attacks and a 6-inch range. They can only move in a straight line towards the target. Mining charges do not suffer the -1 to hit penalty that missiles do. That is another difference. In addition to that, we will prime the charges by using this command, giving them a +1 to hit. Now the charge has 6 dice, so +1 to each of the dice. Firing. Oh, okay. Defender has scored 2, 3, 4, 5 hits with the charges. Now, the charges are affected by flak, and this ship has 1 flak, so one of these is removed. This ship is a small target, so normally it is -1. However, these 4s were 5s because of the +1. So it's still a total of 4 hits here when everything is considered. So 4 hits is double the armor of 2. So the ship receives 2 hull damage, which destroys it because it only has 1 hull. The defenders receive a sitting duck token. The guild fortress now gets its movement and moves 6 inches right behind this asteroid. Has the rear arc in view, however the bow cannon is not in line of sight. It cannot fire its bow cannon. So instead, the fortress will lay out 3 squadrons of bombers. Oh, why the hell not? All 4 squadrons are going. 4 squadrons of bombers against the hive ship. And the mothership sends all of her fighters to intercept the bombers. Alright, so let's see how this goes. There are 4 fighter stands and 4 bomber stands. So the result is 4 dice for each, 1 die per stand. So we're going to roll how many attacks the bombers are going to get, first and foremost. We have to consider flak with bombers. Oh dear, maybe I didn't do that in previous bombing runs. Oh well, they ignore shields. Now we roll the interceptors and we subtract whatever number we add up here from those total attacks. There are a total of 12 bomber attacks, and we have a total of 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we subtract 13 from 12. So basically the bombers are stopped, and now we eliminate all of these stands from the table. Both ships have used up their fighters and bombers, so this was an unsuccessful bombing attack, as the bombers have been shot down, etc., etc. So once the first 2 phases of the round are accomplished, that is recharging shields, if any, and rolling for command, then both fleets, ships that have hangar bays, can then deploy fighter tokens. And so both factions deploy 3 fighter tokens apiece. So the mining guilds win initiative. And the defenders end up moving forward closer to the buoy. That angry insectoid mothership actually moves forward. It moves forward 6 inches and really doesn't have any targets around. I mean, its cannon is mounted in the bow. It only has a front arc. And so what it does is that it sends its long-range bombers, which are in range, to attack the defender squadron. And it's in the hopes of preventing the defenders from being able to score a point because they're right near the buoy. Well, lucky for the defenders, the friendly fighter interceptors are within 12 inches, and so the interceptors come in to save the day. So, both have 3 stands, so there are 3 dice on each side, and their rolls mean that the bombers are only left with 1 attack. They rolled a 5 because one of the attacks went through, and this resulted in losing a shield for one of the defenders. Now, keep in mind that, of course, that once all this is said and done, then all fighter tokens and bomber tokens are removed from the table. And this picture is a better representation of what's going on at the very end of the round, which means that the mining guilds do score their point and win the game with 6-5. A very close game, but they win the game nonetheless. Well, thank you very much for watching, everyone. This was my first time play of Void Admiral, and as you can see, I used a number of my scratch-built starships, so I got to use them in this game. It's very good. I would like to do more with this game in the future. I really enjoyed the command mechanic. The whole command mechanic really adds strategy to the game because you have a lot of options with the commands, and each command board is unique to a specific faction. So every faction has its own little command variations. And also, there's also a few special abilities that are specific to the factions themselves. So there's enough variety and flexibility when creating your ships to incorporate all these factors. So it's very good in that sense. The rules are well written. It's about 50 something pages long. The author is Paul Bentuck, and I'm sorry if I butchered that. I really am. But it's a good game. It's a good game. I'd like to do more with this. So let me know if you like Starship games or want to see more Starship games. There's another game that I would like to try as well. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.